What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Golden Pizza Awards 2014, Day 3. I, of course, am Whatthefnu, and we're going to be starting off this day a little bit strange because we didn't have a whole lot of contestants in this category for this next award, but that doesn't mean it's not worth talking about. You see, everybody plays games for different reasons, and that doesn't mean that any reason, regardless of how many games came out that appeal to that core reason, is any less important than any other. They're all worth talking about because they're all special and they're all inseparable parts of the industry. So let's just hop right into it, okay? This is the award for Best Creation in a Game.
Best Creation, Little Big Planet 3. We're 3 games in, and still, the core concept hasn't been lost here. Little Big Planet has been and always was about creativity, to the point where even the various plots of the single-player modes have been about the power of imagination. Hell, you can't even truly complete the game without dabbling at least a little into its insanely detailed level maker. The tools it offers you at this point to build with are astounding, allowing the creation of concepts far beyond a simple platformer. Don't believe me? Do a quick Google search for The Fist of Craft Earth. Not now, though. YouTube grades me on retention time, after all. Project Spark. Don't ever say Microsoft will settle for being outdone, because if you really spend some time with Project Spark, or even watch some of the developer-made tutorials out there, you start to realize just how deep and elegant this engine is. The tools are as simple or complex as you need them to be, allowing you to throw something functional together in minutes or dump hours into fine-tuning your own personal masterpiece. And hey, for those of you who think you could do a better job bringing a Conquer game into existence than Microsoft ever could, well, now's your chance to prove it. The Sims 4. The Sims is very much about building a world into your exact image of perfection, only to watch it burn down again. There's something uniquely satisfying about running, or rather ruining, the lives of these virtual little meeples, helping them achieve their dreams or watching them fail spectacularly, and then opening up the command window and screwing with them even more. This is very much a grown-up's dollhouse. The question is, are you the sweet little girl that makes everybody pretty for the big tea party? Or the sadistic brother that just pulls off everybody's heads? Yeah, I thought so. Creation games are not only fun, but they can be fantastic learning tools, teaching kids young and old the fundamentals of architecture, mechanical design, communication, and even a little bit of psychology from having to predict player behavior. But more importantly, they might just be the gateways for the designers of tomorrow, giving them a relatively safe testing ground for all their ideas, and a place to learn what works and what doesn't. So which game satisfied that itch the most this year? Who aspired to inspire? And the winner is... Little Big Planet 3. I won't lie, this was an incredibly close race between this and Project Spark, but it's really hard to argue with over 8 million levels. People just understand how the engine works by now. They've mastered its secrets and can tell you exactly how to execute whatever crazy idea you can come up with. We're sure Project Spark will be a better toolset in the long run, but at this point in time, it cannot compare to the sheer level of refinement and resources Little Big Planet 3 had going for it from day one of its release. They're both fantastic, but the slightest of edges goes to this because no other game on the market has proven to be this accessible, this researched, and this easy to simply hop in and start making dreams come true.
This next award here is extremely special. It's very near and dear to my heart, and I think all of you will agree this is one of the biggest ones we can possibly give. This is the Best Developer Award. This is to reward the people who overall, not just in one game, but consistently over the past 12 months, have been nothing but awesome. The people who have respected their customers' intelligence, who have constantly done nothing but good for the industry and set a positive example for everyone else to follow. These are the guys who are on top of the world this year. And it's my great honor to present them in this year's Best Developer.
Best Developer, Blizzard. Blizzard was a sleeping beast in 2014. Releasing Hearthstone and breathing life into Diablo 3 with Reaper of Souls was only the beginning. The other half of its hype and money-devouring rampage happened in the second half of the year. Warlords of Draenor transformed World of Warcraft from a fond memory back into a soul-crushing obsession. Overwatch came clean out of nowhere and took everyone by joyous surprise, and I'm almost positive you're unlocking boosters in Goblins vs. Gnomes this very moment. There was a lot to like about this year, and the lion's share of it came from these guys. Telltale Games. How are these guys so good at crafting a narrative? I mean, it's right in the name of the studio, but still. Wolf Among Us, Game of Thrones, Tales from the Borderlands, and The Walking Dead Season 2, and not a single one is even close to being awful, or even average for that matter. This company has an almost perfect track record so far, and they're showing no signs of slowing down in 2015. So here's to Telltale, letting us explore our favorite worlds, one IP at a time. Nintendo. I still remember countless news articles and game journalist discussions explaining how Nintendo was no longer a player in the current games market, that they somehow didn't matter in the grand scheme of things anymore. Those of us who are old enough to have been through this before, however, knew that it was only a matter of time, of which Nintendo had a whole year ahead of its competition to start making games again. Now note how none of those same people are complaining now that Smash Bros., Hyrule Warriors, and Bayonetta 2 are released. And hopefully we all walked away from this year a little wiser. To win this award is to set an example, to lead the industry simply by being awesome. It's about conducting good business, respecting your customers, and creating money-making machines from these two actions so powerful that the rest of the industry has to stand up and take notice. But more than anything else, it's about making really good games. The best developer of this year not only did all of those, but did them with style, creating a model that other developers should inspire to follow if they ever want to share in their level of success. And the winner is... Nintendo! Nintendo just killed it this year. On the graces of helping Platinum finally release the best game they've ever made and getting Sakurai back for one more round, they'd already be in good standing. But then there's Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, the announcements of Mario Maker, Codename Steam, Splatoon, an HD open world Zelda game, and at long last, a new Star Fox. And then there's the DLC for Mario Kart 8 and Hyrule Warriors, which, if you haven't seen yet, are flat out the best deals you're going to find on additionally developed content for a game outside of a free-to-play MMO. Oh, and let's not forget that amiibos are a thing that happened, nor that retailers have already sold out on ones that won't even be released for a couple months yet. If 2013 was the year of Luigi, this was the year of Nintendo, just in general. And we can't wait to see what they have up their sleeves next. Another day, another game you might not have tried. And this one is an interesting specimen, because if you passed on it during its initial release, it might have given you a reason since then to look again. Say hello to the ever-evolving action game, Abyss Odyssey. Abyss Odyssey is a procedurally generated brawler with roguelike elements thrown in. However, the term brawler kinda does this game's combat system an injustice. The combos and skills you can perform in this game are deeply technical, rewarding players who decide to put in the effort needed to master it with an incredibly high skill ceiling. In fact, speaking of injustice, Abyss Odyssey feels a lot more like a fighting game than it does a typical brawler, which should come as no surprise since it was inspired by games like Super Smash Bros. However, the biggest draw of this game is how it is constantly being updated as time goes by, and how those updates are community driven. The seal you see on the main menu in the shape of the final boss's mask degrades slightly every time somebody playing this game anywhere wins, and every time that seal is completely broken, new elements get added to the abyss, including more forms and abilities for the final boss himself. This guarantees that whether you are or are not playing, the game gives you a reason to come back, either to help unlock the new stuff faster or to see what kind of new content has been added since you last checked in. And don't worry about the usual hiccups associated with it being procedurally generated. For a game that uses tile sets to make up the levels, it's surprisingly difficult to tell. The beautiful aesthetic and extremely detailed backgrounds that seem to go on as far as you can possibly see hide a lot of the elements that might otherwise jerk you right out of the experience. And that's why Abyss Odyssey is a game worth trying. If you're not impressed by it now, just give it a week or two and come back again.